Hello and welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet. And today I'm thankful, grateful, blessed to welcome Anthony Haydick and Adam back to the channel. How's it going, guys?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Anthony, we're looking forward to chatting with you. You are a huge part of our documentary. I'm so thankful that you were brave enough to share your story. You kind of really got to get out of your comfort zone to agree to go in front of a bunch of cameras and get your story out there. So we really appreciate it. Your story is so powerful, and you were one of the last interviews we did. It was our final filming trip, so I'm really glad we were able to capture that. For those that are jumping on right now, we're going to chat a little bit with Anthony, maybe a little bit about the documentary's experience there. And then we're going to share our trailer. We're going to share the first trailer we did. And then near the end of the call, we'll share our brand new trailer, which I'm excited for because I was just chatting and Anthony has purposely not watched it yet. So you guys will get to see it live with Anthony. Hopefully you enjoyed Anthony. So you are in it briefly. But just full disclosure, everybody's in it briefly. The purpose of this trailer was to show the scope and scale of the project. And we filmed 60 interviews all over the world. And so we tried to fit all of that into like 3 minutes. It was pretty tough to do, but you're in there and you're speaking in there. And we're going to be having another trailer as well right before the documentary is done. And that's going to be a little bit different than this. So before I ramble too much, Anthony, could you maybe share a little bit for those that haven't followed your story? By the way, I'll say too, you guys need to follow Anthony on social media. We'll put the links down below. We can talk about that. But could you share a little bit briefly your story and what led you to this space?
Yeah, so long story short, on my 31st birthday, I was diagnosed with stage 4 GIST cancer, GIST, which is a gastrointestinal stromal tumor. About a month and a half before my birthday and the diagnosis, I did a surgery where they removed a softball size benign tumor that was non-cancerous and part of my liver as well. Well, it came back as cancerous. Did treatment, did 2 different types of treatment. For 130 days was the first type. A week was the second type. And that was not quality of life and living to me. The cancer got worse and progressed. So I made a pact to try to win naturally, or die trying. Did different diets 3 months at a time. I'm always going to give a shout out to Jeff the Prosperous because I came across his story during my keto phase, and he was carnivore. So I was like, well, that's the next diet I'm trying. And now coming up September 1st, I'll be actually 2 solid years in the carnivore, and about 98% of the time I'm strict. I've cheated a couple times, and every time I cheat, I feel like shit, pardon the language. I break out with acne, bloat, bathroom problems, and so I'll be carnivore the rest of my life.
I love it. Anthony, Anthony's got an incredible story. Just before I forget to ask, where can people find you and follow if they want to hear your whole story?
So Facebook and Instagram, still my name, Anthony Hayduck. I believe YouTube's Anthony Hayduck, and then parentheses, Making Cancer My Bitch is my YouTube name for now. Eventually, I want to transition everything to chemo to carnivore, but I have to understand how to do that first. That's more than my pay grade pays me. One thing I forgot to mention with my introduction, the day I got the diagnosis, they told me estimated 6 months of life. I need treatment. It's the only option with just cancer. There's no other way. And here I am proving them wrong with just cancer with my mutations. I'm doing better off treatment and actually better in my entire life than up until, doing this. I was never this good before this.
That's incredible. Yeah, so here, like a couple of years later, they say 6 months, and you're a couple of years later here. Not only a couple of years, but you literally feel better than you have your whole life.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Amazing. It's such an inspiration, and you're doing like some crazy stuff now, right? I'm following you on social media, and you're jumping out of planes, I hear.
I jumped out of a plane for the first time ever in my life a couple of weeks ago. I don't know how to say this, so I'll just say it. The cancer diagnosis has been a blessing once I've allowed it to be. I've learned how to be happy in life and apply myself to do things I never thought I'd do. Diet, exercise, nutrition, getting out of my comfort zone, being on social media, talking in crowds. And prior to cancer, I was a tree climber, timber faller, worked for a tree service company for 12 years. I was scared of heights. My boss motivated me to climb with money. And I only did it because of the money. And so now I purposely jumped out of a perfectly good plane just to face my fear of heights. And I was tied to somebody I didn't even know.
How was it? Like, you want to do it again, or are you like, I'm
hooked. I am hooked. God created birds for a reason. And honestly, the perspective from jumping out of the plane and just free falling, I think from 13,000 feet to 5,000 feet took about 45 to 60 seconds. It was hard to describe, almost felt you were timeless and motionless. If it wasn't for the clouds and, getting close to the ground, you just think you're lost in space.
Did you have a decent landing?
So when you do tandem, they make you put your feet up and slide on your butt so you don't tuck and roll, because literally you're spooning with the person behind you. So when we landed, he's like, feet up, and we just slid on our butt and got right back up. And I didn't want to chicken out because there was an 85-year-old man named Jim for his first time also was going. I was like, I can't let this old timer show me up. So I toughed it out and went for it.
That's amazing. Well, there's some chat coming through as well. If you guys have any questions for Anthony, let us know, but maybe we'll kick it off here early with our first trailer for those that aren't familiar with what we're doing or the documentary that Anthony's in. I think the first one gives you a little bit of a taste of it, and then a little bit after that, we'll show you the second one. So here's our first trailer. And like I said, if you have any questions for Anthony, please post them in the chat. Here we go with trailer 1.
I've been a doctor for nearly 30 years now.
We've all been misled for so long.
They gave me pills for anxiety. They gave me pills for depression.
Our bodies are so deficient and so malnourished that of course you're going to get diseases. Of course you're going to get sick.
I believe that I may have caused my cancer.
It is no way to live. It's a nightmare.
I was just so hopeless for so many years. It just kills me to know that the answer was out there the whole time.
Just because you put something in your mouth and chew it doesn't make it food. Food is species specific.
We can sit back and we can say the bloody doctors, it's not their fault. They were trained and they're doing what they were trained to do.
The thing that really pisses me off is that the people that we should have been able to trust, the literal organizations that we look up to protect us, are the people who have done the majority of the misleading.
I'm 82 years old, which is just a chronological number. So you put the right fuel in the engine and the engine works.
I've now transitioned from a disease manager to a disease healer. I've transitioned from a drug dealer to a healer.
3 weeks ago, I didn't know this man, Bill, from Alaska. Bill is 700 pounds and he's been stuck in his house for 4 years. You nervous?
I'm nervous, Kerry. I live in Alaska, the most incredible place on the planet. I had to have a toilet put, a few feet from my bed, which I can barely walk to as is. I have not been outside in over 4 years. This is life or death for me. I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry about that.
Here.
Man.
Thanks, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now, for the first time in a long, long time, I'm looking towards the future, which I've not had in such a long, long time. And it's just the most incredible feeling.
There we go. So that was our first trailer for a documentary. For those that aren't familiar, we're following real individuals eating a proper human diet and finding incredible healing and sharing the stories of those individuals, supported by some of the good doctors. We got 9 doctors and experts, including Professor Thomas Seyfried and his team that we interviewed for the documentary. So again, I'm so thankful, Anthony, that we're able to share your story. We weren't going to have cancer in the documentary initially. It was because of Jeff DeProsperous and his story. And his story is a huge part of the entire documentary. But because of Jeff, now we got you and Tammy Peterson and Professor Seyfried. And we also interviewed Brad and Maggie Jones on the cancer front. And is there another one, Adam? Am I missing any? I think that was it. Oh, I think you're muted, Adam.
Seyfried's team, Jeff, and I think that was it.
Yeah. All right, we got some chat here. Let's see.
So Anthony, Maggie was in that, right?
Yeah. Remind me of the Maggie challenge.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you about. Tell us about that.
So first of all, when I seen Maggie through your guys', work you guys are doing, and you guys told me about the Maggie challenge, her carrying those grain, I think it's grain buckets, 50 pounds per hand, 100 pounds total, like a quarter mile to go feed the animals. And then I think Dr. Sean Baker had Kerry do it. I don't remember if you did it or not, Adam. And I was like,
Barely.
I'm my ego always gets in the way. I always try to do one level up with everything I do. And so instead of using 50 pounds per hand, I filled up 5-gallon buckets full of rock, which was about 79 and 80 pounds per hand. And I did the math wrong. I thought I did a quarter mile, but instead I did 30% of a mile. So I did a couple hundred feet more than I needed to do. And that was a humbling challenge. Maggie made that look a lot easier, of course. And from a cardio and strength perspective, I got to step up my game.
Well, I think it would be harder the way you did it with the buckets too, just gripping the little handle on the buckets. That had to add some, make it a little bit tougher, I guess.
My hands were really sore afterwards, especially with the neuropathy I deal with. But like I said, my ego at times gets in the way, and I like to push through the pain and push through the challenges. Just like with last year on 9/11, I did the Fallen Heroes challenge on the stair climber machine. The Twin Towers was 112 flights of stairs, and I did 114 in fire gear, and it took me an hour.
How much weight? How much weight was that?
So I myself at that time was about 180 pounds, and I had another 60 pounds of gear on top of me. They wouldn't let me use the actual respirator in the tank for liability reasons, so they gave me a weight vest with weights, which was 60 pounds, and I had my logging boots on, which have a huge heel, and about half my boot would fit on a stair climber.
Wow.
Good Lord.
Are you going to be doing that one again?
I plan to do it on 9/11 again this year as well, as long as I get permission from the fire department to borrow their stuff. If not, I'll just get a weight vest and go for it again. But I want to do it live this year so everybody can see it live.
How long does that take?
It took me an hour last year with one break, and that one break was to go urinate. Believe it or not, I was sweating that bad I still had to urinate. But
I was going to say throw up.
That too. I threw up at the very end. I pushed so hard I got the hot sweats and puked, but I didn't have that on the camera.
That'd be a cool live stream though, to record that whole thing. It's so inspiring. That's just incredible when you think about it. Mindset's
everything. That's what I tell people. One of my new slogans is, just because you have an illness or a diagnosis or a disability or deformity, it doesn't mean you can't do anything. It's all what's in your mind and just pushing through it.
Absolutely.
I got a quick question for you, Anthony. So you were on chemo before, and your channel is called Chemo to Carnivore. Could you have done the Maggie challenge or climbing those stairs when you were on chemo before?
So in the beginning of chemo, when I was taking the targeted therapy, I probably could have attempted the challenge. But at my very end of the treatment, I actually gave up driving. I wasn't going. I mean, I never went to the gym anyway, but I was doing stuff at the home, stuff at the pool. And I was so bad towards the end of chemo, I was urinating blood. I was having seizures and convulsions, and I actually gave up driving because I didn't want to hurt myself or somebody else driving down the road having a seizure. So during the end of it, I couldn't even do a push-up. So I wouldn't have done any of those challenges, not just physically, but mentally I was depleted.
Wow. And then you said, to heck with it. I'm not doing any of that anymore. No standard of care. I'm just going to eat meat.
I didn't want to quit the standard of care, but once we got the imaging results saying the cancer spread further and it got worse and grew, I realized the doctors I was dealing with didn't know what the hell they were doing. And if I wanted to stay alive, I needed to make a plan and be my own advocate. And my childhood friend, Josh, he's like, before you die, I want you to go to the gym and fight one last time. I'll help you, because he was new into the gym as well. Strength in numbers really helps. So he got me to go to the gym. My local Anytime Fitness actually gave me a month for free before I could get the finances to get together to become a member. And I was hooked just mentally. I was like, this is what I need to do. Physically, I hated it. Like, you could ask my parents for 7 or 8 months as I was, urinating blood at the gym. I hated going. I was like, but I knew my body needed it. I knew what it took mentally to go through it. And I just prayed and prayed and prayed. Eventually I'd heal, and look at me now.
That's amazing. I've interviewed several people with cancer, many with serious cancers, and the ones that are succeeding and thriving, they're doing exactly what you're doing, Anthony. It's mindset and exercise. Those have been the two things that I've seen. And, well, of course, eating a proper human diet and fasting also, but that mindset I feel like is so important and often overlooked. And I don't know how you do it too, because it's easier said than done, I would imagine, to try to be positive and not let it stress you out. And but I guess if you're going to the gym too, that might be help. Give you something to focus on.
The gym is definitely a big focus of my life. In the last year, I've also implemented God into my life, and that's been a blessing. For the longest time, prior to the diagnosis, I was never happy in life. I was miserable. I didn't realize how miserable I was. I tried to buy temporary happiness with toys, trucks, whatever, and that wasn't living to me. And I'm happier now than I've ever been in my life. And I'm going bankrupt every month, going in the whole negative because, insurance doesn't cover any of my treatment now because it's not proven to work, even though we have all the proof in the pudding. I'm doing amazing with my regiment. But it just goes to show you money doesn't buy happiness. What you do with yourself and how you apply yourself is the true internal happiness.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we've got some comments. MacWag said, this dude is a total badass. If I remember right from past stuff, was cutting down trees in the woods, like a really tough job, one of the toughest jobs ever, basically being a lumberjack. Yeah.
I miss it. I did tree work for 12 years. During those 12 years, it was actually my uncle's business. Tree work's in my blood. My great-grandfather, my great-grandfather, they all did it as well. Like my great-grandfather, when he did timber, it was with old misery rips by hand, and all of a sudden, here's a power saw. What's this? The highest I've been up a tree is about 165 feet, and it was about yay big around at the top. Your spurs could almost touch inside the tree. I was puckered.
Andy has kind of an interesting question. Well, Dr. Seafried isn't here now, but his question is, why would someone like Anthony can get cancer, but obese people don't? He had a couple questions in here talking about it's kind of unusual that it doesn't seem like there's a lot of obese people getting cancer, I think is his question. I don't know if that's something you've seen or heard about, Anthony.
So I don't go to the local cancer center very much anymore since I'm off treatment. They don't want to see me very much unless it's a checkup, which is now it's every 6 months, even though for the longest time they told me, oh, the cancer is that smart. It could turn on and turn off when it needs to. You need to come in all the time. Well, out of nowhere, the cancer is not that smart anymore. You know what I mean? But there's still, obese people at the cancer center I've seen. Now, in my case, the only way I could answer your question is through blood work and through I deal with a specialist, a GIST specialist. He's over in Portland, Oregon. And with the mutations I deal with, it's inherited. My great-grandmother had it as well. But I'm a firm believer, and I think Jeff DeProsperous, not to put words in his mouth, but I think he said, he caused his cancer as well, or the cancer that's inside of his body. Words are powerful. I'm a firm believer that every human on earth has the ability or does have cancer cells inside of their body. And it's what we do with our life, our food, our stress, our everything is what either brings it out or doesn't bring it out. And It doesn't matter if you're skinny, muscular, or fat. It all goes back to how you're treating your body mentally and internally stressed. There's a lot of people that are fat and happy. You know what I mean? And that could play a role in why they don't get sick as quick as somebody else that's in shape and miserable.
Right. Beverly said, these trailers are so good. Brought everyone had such a great story of inspiration. Oh, thank you, Beverly.
Bill gets me every time, man. I cry every time I see him.
Yeah. Diego said, how many times do you have to say Anthony Kerry? 42. 42 is the number we're shooting
Let's
for.
make it 44.
Andy, I agree on this one. It really irritates me when we act like cancer is just dumb luck. It's just a fluke. We don't know.
So true.
Yeah.
Well, the sad part about cancer in today's world, and then this is, I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but it's either 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 people is going to have a diagnosis of cancer in their lifetime. It never used to be that way. So what's the common factor? Our lifestyle and our foods have gone to shit, in the world we live in.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, Bill Knott is in the chat. There we go.
How's it going, Bill?
Bill and Daisy. Awesome. All right. I thought there was one more question here. Let me see. Anthony, seriously, just want to say you are a gigantic inspiration.
Appreciate that. It means a lot. I've said this a couple times in the past. I don't know if it's been aired or not yet, depending on what recordings Kerry's done with me. But if I hypothetically died tomorrow, I mean, it'd suck. But the fact I've touched so many people and helped other people in their life, that's what matters to me. It ain't about the money. It's about helping others in life and inspiring others, because we're all our own worst enemy mentally. We beat ourselves up all the time. At least I'm speaking from my own experience anyway. That's typical nature as a human. We have sinful thoughts, sinful nature, but we have to overcome that and be positive, because both are contagious. And I'd rather spread the positivity and help others versus, be that black cloud where nobody likes.
Absolutely. Looking at you said, hey, Anthony, respect to you. I come across you quite often. Last time I was hearing about you eating meat raw. My questions, are you still doing raw meat?
I'm doing raw meat about 3 or 4 days a week right now. I learned to have a little bit of a histamine issue. And so when I do raw meat, I have to do it fresh and grind it right away and eat it. I was aging it in the past, and it was causing histamine issues to be worse. Digestive was amazing, but I was having other issues. And so I got a grinder, luckily, from a friend of mine, and I just been grinding my meat in about 3 or 4 days a week, do raw. And it's once you get past the texture and taste, it's amazing.
Do you salt it or not?
I use salt, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, it adds a lot of flavor with the salt.
Yep.
And I also mix a raw egg in there.
Kat had a question. How long does it typically take to reap the full benefits of carnivore?
I think all of us could answer this question in our own ways, but I think the longer you do it, the better it is. And the more stricter you are, the better the results are going to be. From my own experiences, my first 3 months, I was pure lion. I was super strict, and that was the best I ever felt. After 3 months, I've kind of went more carnivore and not as strict. I mean, I'm still, not eating grains and carbs and stuff like that. But when I have let myself cheat, with an ice cream or some type of grain, I break out and bloat. I have the bathroom problems, I get acne, and it's just telling me my body doesn't know what to do with what I'm putting in my system. So it's easier to be just full carnivore, and could take 3 months, could take 6 years. It just depends on how metabolically unhealthy you are, in my opinion.
Yeah. Adam, what about you?
I agree with that 100%. So the longer I do this, the more benefits it seems like comes along down the pike. And there was so many right off the bat that was enough to convince me to never eat any other way. Now, can I say that I never will eat something else down the road? I don't know. But right now, no, I don't see that at all. And as time goes on, it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, we had Emily on our membership site last night, and she's been carnivore 6 years, and she was just going off about how much better she feels now, even at 6 years, than she did at 5 years and she did before that, which is pretty remarkable. And I've heard that from several other people. I remember when I first started, I think I was on to like day 60, and someone told me it just gets better. And I'm like, there's no way. I feel so good right now. There's no way, but it just keeps getting better and better. But yeah, Kat, how long does it typically take? That depends. That's really hard to answer too, because the thing with carnivore is it's a healing diet. And depending on what you have to heal, it can take longer, and it'll prioritize the healing. And often we don't even know what healing we need. Like 1/3 of the population's walking around with fatty livers right now, and they don't even realize they have a fatty liver, for example. But a lot of people, if you're just thinking about starting, a lot of people notice something remarkable around 3 weeks. I've heard that over and over again. Not that they're fully healed, nothing like that, but they usually have this whoa moment around 3 weeks. Like, man, the sky looks bluer today. I feel happier today. Like I've got more energy. Something feels a little bit different. And that happens for a lot of people around 3 weeks. Some of the inflammation starts to go away, things like that. So for those that are just jumping on, we're talking to Anthony Haydick here. Incredible story. We filmed Anthony for a documentary when we were out in Washington. And looks like we got a couple other questions here, but then we're going to show our new trailer that Anthony is also in. Have I hit 42 Anthonys yet?
I lost count after 20.
That's pretty close. I'm getting there.
24.
Let's see. What is this other one? Here's a question from Leslie. What is your long-term plan for your diet? Are you going to be carnivore the rest of your life?
So as long as I have tumors inside of me, minions, I'm definitely going to be carnivore. Maybe later on in life, once I'm cancer-free completely, I may or may not introduce a thing here and there. But like I've said so far, when I have introduced something, it doesn't go well. So I really don't care to introduce much. I spent 31 years feeling like shit, part of my language. And for the last, September 1st will be 2 years carnivore. I've never felt so good in my life. Why would I want to ruin such a good thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think I've said before, if crap hits the fan or something and I've got nothing else to eat but vegetables, starvation food, I'd eat that. But now I'm almost like, no, I'll just die.
Yeah, I can't. I mean this respectfully, but I can't put peasant food in my mouth anymore.
Right. Right.
True.
Especially with like so much of what I've learned. Like I had so many stomach issues for so long, and I never knew what it was from, but I really believe a lot of it was just from vegetables. And people would say, oh, it's because you're eating junk food and processed food. I went a whole year just eating clean keto, salad, low carb vegetables. One of the biggest things that was eye-opening for me, and Adam and I were on with him 2 days ago, Lee Kopis, when he talked about his ileostomy bag, and he would eat just a little bit of vegetables, clean green vegetables, and his bag would just fill up with gas and sludge. And then he'd eat meat, and there's nothing in the bag, just a little bit of liquid. That's what really convinced me, because I'm like, yeah, I was around 3 weeks on carnivore, I think, when I said I can't feel my stomach anymore. It's like it's gone. I've never had that feeling before. I imagine probably because it was just filled up with gas from eating all of that vegetables all that time. So my long-term plan is definitely sticking carnivore. 893 days today.
Wow, congratulations, buddy. That's good.
Just keeps getting better and better. Just like you, Anthony. It's like, why mess with it? Like, I feel too good. All right, let's see if we got any other comments here. Anthony, bro, you are a walking miracle. That's from All for Jesus Carnivore.
There's Helen.
Appreciate that. I give my credit to applying myself when doing the hard stuff, facing my fears. And, it wasn't easy to quit treatment. It wasn't easy to quit the standard of care treatment. It wasn't easy to go against my friends and family, because everybody wanted me to don't quit treatment. You need it. I'm like, I'm dying with it, So now I got a hell of a support group. I'm grateful for it. But in the beginning, I had a lot of hatred and a lot of bullies trying to, keep me on the standard care of treatment. And I've actually been kicked out of 3 different cancer groups for going against the grain, even though I was on the grain initially.
Leslie says, as a cancer survivor myself, I can't imagine the look on your oncologist's face when you walked out and said, no more chemo.
Yeah. The first oncologist that I told him, because I've gone through, I'm at now number 11 oncologist. I've been through 11 in 3 years, just shy of 3 years. The first one I told him I was quitting. He's like, hey, I understand it's your life, your body. You know, if you're not doing well on treatment, whatever, you know, quit it if that's what you want to do. Well, he resigned and I got a new oncologist. Number 2 tried to force me back on the same treatment that was making the cancer spread and worse. And we had a huge altercation. I ended up grabbing him. You know, cops came in the whole 9 yards. It wasn't a pleasant thing, but it just goes back to show you not all doctors are good. Some really have an ego, and they just, even though they have the proof and they're putting on the paperwork, they just want that kickback because that's what they've been trained to do.
Right. All right. Well, I've got a question for Anthony, but I'm going to hold it for a minute and maybe we'll show this new trailer. So this is our trailer 2 for Healing Humanity. And this is Anthony's first time seeing it. Hopefully he doesn't storm out.
Who are we talking to again?
Make that 43 now, 44.
Anthony. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Quick setup for the trailer. We have a new trailer that we're going to be doing right when the documentary's done. We are on the home stretch with the documentary. I should mention that as well because people always ask. We're done filming. We filmed 60 interviews. Our last filming trip was with Anthony. Our last interview was with Dr. Baker just after we filmed Anthony. And we're completely done filming now. We're in post-production through the end of the year, and we're hoping to have the documentary out early next year. And we're also doing an entire series, and we hope to make it as accessible as possible for people, hoping to show it on the big screen for a little bit and then on a streaming service. It's going to be a hybrid. It might be on YouTube, but the goal is to get it in front of as many people as possible for as cheap as possible, so millions of people can see it and watch it. But this trailer that we're about to show you is a little bit different in that we wanted to show the scope and scale of the project. We have so many amazing donors on GoFundMe that have been supporting us, but a lot of them are like, what's going on? Like, you showed us this one trailer a year and a half ago and we haven't seen anything for a while. Meanwhile, Adam and I were literally traveling all over the world, filming 60 interviews all across Australia, all across Canada, all over the United States. We flew out to the UK. So it's been really busy. And the purpose of this trailer is to show the scope of all of that. So with all of that said, I'm going to show it to you guys now. And then if you want to rewatch it or share it, you can go to healinghumanity.movie. You can also sign up for a free newsletter there. I highly recommend that. We won't send you any email unless it's important. We'll send you an email when we have our new trailer. If we do a big filming project, we'll send you some behind the scenes. And when the documentary's ready, we're going to email and notify everyone there first. Here we go. Trailer number 2.
When I walk into a grocery store and see thousands of items on the shelf, that does not register in my brain as food. And of course it's not. This has never been food to any human being for the entirety of human history.
We've been soaking up the wrong information for so long.
Everything I thought I knew about nutrition turned out to be wrong. And it doesn't take that long to figure it out if you look at the actual science.
Your body, even though you feel like it betrayed you years ago, you actually betrayed it.
I was following the rules and getting sicker for it.
I was hopeless. I was really hopeless, and I thought, yeah, this is the way it's gonna be.
I don't think I would have made it. I honestly don't. I mean, I was 69 pounds, almost hooked up to a feeding tube.
I probably had 30 days left until I was dead.
My thought was, I'm gonna die, and I'm not going to have a chance to tell everybody that I love them one last time.
That's just more pills and more pills and more pills and more sickness and more disease.
I look at people now on the street and I see them not doing well, and I just wonder what the food that they're eating is doing to them.
We're learning from our past way of eating that somehow we're damaged and diseased.
I want to live in a world where every doctor is not managing disease, but trying to get to the root cause of why people are sick in the first place.
That's what being a doctor's all about, isn't it? Being able to take somebody who's got no hope and give them hope. And it's a real hope. It's a true hope. It's not a false hope. I'm not interested in any other profession.
There you go, right in my face. Perfect.
I just remember being so excited about being alive again.
Changing my diet, like, absolutely saved my life.
Plain and simple, I would not be here today.
I have my life back.
It was like with a new lens, new eyes. Was using them for the first time.
Even though I'm 5.5 years in, I still wake up feeling impressed.
I felt the best I ever felt in my life.
I never thought I'd have a life. I really thought my life was over. And if I hadn't have found this lifestyle, that I would not be sitting here with you today. No way.
I'm 82 years old, which is just a chronological number.
Pull yourself up, you swing your leg over, and you're over.
It's not healthcare, it's sick care. We don't need doctors if we're eating properly. We don't need medication.
There we go.
Wow, that's all I got to say.
Oh, good.
That is phenomenal.
Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, it was a interesting project trying to fit so much into one little trailer. It was a little bit unusual, but yeah, we're really happy with it. We're really excited. More so excited to get this thing done though. Get it out there. So we're on the home stretch now, which is really cool.
Yeah, that was. I mean, the first trailer was amazing, but trailer number 2, and like I said, I don't have much for words. It kind of left me speechless. Actually, seeing all the people you filmed and just hearing just a brief story.
Yeah.
And some of those people, I mean, I've met you and I met Adam. I got to meet Steven, and it was like, it just, there's no words to describe going from feeling like you're unalive to actually feeling like you're alive for the first time in your life. It doesn't matter what age you are.
Right. That's been the remarkable thing too. It's so many of the people that you saw in that trailer are healing from something incredible, but then they all say the same thing. I feel like I'm alive for the first time in my life. That's what's been kind of remarkable with this whole thing. Seeing people, I said it on the other. I love movies. People were getting busy dying before. You can get busy living or get busy dying, and it feels like people on Carnivore. It's a common thread. I feel like I'm living for the first time. I feel like I'm 20 years younger. And then they get kind of mad, like, you mean to tell me I could have felt this way my whole life and I was kind of living as a shadow of a human being for so long?
And that's the sad reality is for so long, a lot of us were muffled, to what real life should be like. And with the healthcare system as a whole, I mean, there's still a lot of good doctors out there, but as a whole, the healthcare system just tries to suppress symptoms versus get to the root cause. And when you treat symptoms, you don't do anything. You have to treat the root of the issue so you could resolve the issue.
Yeah. That's the documentary's twofold. The main thing are individual stories like yours, Anthony, and then the other part of it is supporting it with good doctors that are actually doing it differently, that are treating the root cause. That is a very rare thing in this world, but I think we need to celebrate it and put it out there to the world. Like Dr. Hampton said, I was a drug dealer, now I'm a healer. Like, that's amazing. Yeah. Getting people off their medication. I've talked about this before on the channel. I don't know. I just love this concept. I'll show this here real quick. People have probably heard me say this before, but maybe not. This whole positive deviance thing, where you have a huge, massive, wide-scale problem. So if you imagine all those dots, imagine those as doctors. you have millions of doctors, and they became doctors because they wanted to heal, but almost every single one of them is failing. They're not healing people because they're not treating the root cause. But then you got a couple little dots there, and those are also doctors, and they're under the same constraints, but they're actually healing people. They're getting them off their medication, and the people are saying, Dr. Barry, you saved my life. Well, Dr. Barry's one of those red dots. Dr. Hampton's one of those red dots. And if we celebrate those doctors and get the word out about those doctors, you end up seeing other doctors that are like, I became a doctor to heal people. I want to do that. What do I have to do differently? So highlighting those positive deviants and the good doctors that are brave enough to do something a little bit different, but they're actually healing people, needs to be celebrated. That's why sometimes I got to give a little disclosure. Like, I'm not just trying to flatter these doctors for the sake of it. I think it's really important that we elevate what they're doing so the rest of the world sees it, and that's how we're going to change things, hopefully.
Well, if I remember correctly, Kerry, didn't you used to have like a whole tray of pills you'd take on a regular basis, and one day you're like, F it, I'm done with these?
Yeah. Well, I did a video. Well, full disclosure, I weaned off of them properly because some of them were serious, like for depression. And you can really mess yourself up. So I always tell people you got to work with your prescribing doctor to wean off your medication properly. But I did do a video at one point after I had gotten off all of them, where I was holding them all and I just checked them. I'm like, that was a big celebration. The fact that I am on zero medications now.
Yeah, because you were on quite a bit, and I myself, at one point in time, I was on like 6 or 8 different prescriptions as well for heart stuff and everything else. And I've actually been through 3 different heart doctors, and this third heart doctor, and this is what I don't know if I've said before, I used to deal with seizures as a kid. Well, at 18, this is when seizures started happening, and they were just intermittent, once a month, maybe twice a month. And then when chemo happened, it got, aggressively, like daily, weekly, like nonstop. That's why I gave up driving. Well, knock on wood, now September 1st, I'm 2 years in the carnivore, and I've been seizure free now for 2 years, for the first time ever in my life. And when I seen my heart doctor last time, he tried to re-prescribe me heart medications. I'm like, dude, did you not listen to my 10-minute speech about how I'm not having heart problems anymore? I'm not having seizures anymore. Or why in the F you trying to prescribe me something again?
Oh my goodness. It's crazy.
Amazing.
It just goes to show you that doctors, like you said, good doctors need to be contagious towards the ones that have the egos, because we were all trained wrong at one point in time.
Yeah.
You have to be open-minded enough to be untrained or retrained.
Right. Well, and sometimes I'll hear people say like, well, you can't blame the doctors. That's all they can do is medication. I'm like, I can blame them all I want. Like, you became a doctor to heal someone. These other doctors, 9 that we have in the documentary, they found a way to heal people. And then I'm like, I'm an idiot moron homesteader. I was able to stumble around on YouTube and figure this out. If it was my profession and my purpose in life was to heal people, you should be able to figure that out or do it another way instead of just giving people more and more medication, which clearly isn't working.
100%.
We got a $2 super chat from Susan. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate it. And your question is, would you try to interview RFK Jr.? He's a little busy, but how amazing. Absolutely. We've shown this trailer quite a bit, and I have had so many people say, you got to send this to RFK. Make America Healthy Again needs to know about this, all of it. Believe me, we've tried, but the best thing I can tell people, because a lot of people are also very nice, and they're saying, how can we help? You guys can send it and tag them. Like, the more people that send the trailer to RFK, for example, the more likely it is he's actually going to watch it. We have tried many times, but we probably had like 25 comments saying that. Did you guys send this to RFK yet? I'm like, we did. Please do it also. Please do it also. Like, post it on Facebook, tag them, tweet it out to them, email, whatever you can do. But yeah, 100%. I would love to, for sure.
Strength in numbers works good.
That's right.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Anthony, you are a miracle.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What else we got here? Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I got all the questions. I think I got them all. WE Network. I'm crying. It was so awesome. Oh, thank you. And sorry. And you ain't seen nothing yet. Just wait.
That's the truth.
Anthony, you're doing some crazy adventures. You just went skydiving. Do you have any big adventures coming up soon that you're planning?
So actually on 9/11, I got the stair climber challenge for 112 flights of stairs and hopefully fire gear, if not just a weighted vest equivalent fire gear. September 14th, I am doing a Spartan race. It's a 10K with 25 obstacles. I've never done one of those before. I did a Tough Mudder, which is an off branch of Spartan last year, and that kicked my butt. But I've been training for it a lot more, and so I'm excited. I'm actually in the middle of working on an edit of my own life from birth till the cancer journey. And one of the background songs is Tim McGraw, Living Like You're Dying. And so I'm trying to implement that song into my own life, so that's why I jumped out of the plane, facing my fear. I'm trying to go find a place I could rock climb, not outdoors, of course, but like a safe place. So I don't, if I do fall, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm just literally just trying to find everything I'm scared of in life and do it. I tell people it's okay to be scared, but it takes courage to face your fears and go through it anyway. And honestly, without the fear, more than likely you're going to have something go wrong, because fear keeps you on your toes and keeps you balanced on, okay, this is my next move. You know what I mean? Keeps the cockiness out of it if you're not fearless.
Right. And it seems like in life, everything that we fear, that we get through that fear, like the best stuff is always on the other side of it. For example, you going skydiving, you had to be pretty terrified, but how awesome was that once you landed?
Honestly, I was perfectly fine. I was nervous about it, but I was perfectly fine until that hatch opened up. And as soon as the hatch opened, I'm like, this is reality. I can't back out now. I mean, I could, but I'd look bad. And I was tied to the instructor, and he's like, you ready? I'm like, not really, but here we go. And he takes his leap, and I go with him, of course. Within the first 5 seconds, my heart dropped. I'm like, oh shit, this is the end. And then once we got out of the plane and the plane was kind of, gone, I was loving it. I don't even know how to describe it. I want to go back again. It takes 25 jumps and a course, so you could go by yourself. So the goal is to go 24 more times and see if I could pass the course. I could go by myself.
That's incredible. So everyone has to stay tuned, watch Anthony, follow Anthony on social media. It's awesome what you're doing. It's so inspiring. We're so thankful and grateful, like I said, that you shared your story. It took bravery to do that, go in front of a big camera crew and be vulnerable and share your whole story. And I really believe it's going to inspire a lot of people.
Well, like I said in the past, when I met you in Seattle, is, when I lost my father to cancer in 2019 in cancer treatments, that was all just friends and family at the celebration of life. And I didn't even speak on stage for my father's behalf because I was too scared to speak in front of the family and friends. And there's maybe 50 of us total. And here I've spoken, in Vegas now, I've spoken in Seattle, and I display my life on a regular basis for everybody across the world. And the impact behind it's more important than, being scared to display my life or, be scared to speak. And from an education standpoint, I barely made it through high school. I actually paid somebody to do my senior project, and I just, rewrote it in my own language because, they would totally know it wasn't me writing it. And so here I barely made it through high school, and look at the knowledge I have now. You know what I mean? Just because I didn't go to college doesn't mean I'm not smart. Just apply yourself in the right pathways. And like you said, everything you learned is at the tip of your fingertips, either on a cell phone or on the laptop. And you have to either entertain yourself or better yourself. And my beliefs is if you better yourself, then you have time to entertain yourself. But if you entertain yourself first, you're going to have a miserable life.
It's true. Good way to look at it.
Great way to look at it, for sure. Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you, Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your story in the documentary. And thank you, everyone, for coming on and asking questions and giving some support and love to Anthony. We really appreciate it. Is there anything else I need to mention before we wrap up, Adam?
No, that's it. We have another stream coming in I don't know, what is it, half hour?
Half hour. Mr.
Yeah.
Dave Mack.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Dave's a good guy.
Yeah, he's the best. Awesome. Thank you so much, Anthony. Appreciate you. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Beep.